Have you ever stood in front of your microwave waiting for last night's dinner to heat up, thinking about how convenient leftovers are? It's a ritual in millions of kitchens. It saves time, it saves money, and it feels responsible. We're told not to waste food, and so we pack it away, ready for another meal. But what if that simple, sensible act of reheating your food was a hidden trap? What if I told you that for certain foods, the journey from the refrigerator to the microwave can transform them from nourishing to noxious, creating toxins that your body, especially over the age of 60, struggles to fight? Imagine your healthy home-cooked meal secretly turning against you, contributing to digestive distress, fatigue, and even more serious long-term health risks. It sounds alarming, I know, but today we are going to pull back the curtain on this kitchen secret. My name is Dr. William Lee, and I've dedicated my career to understanding how food impacts our body's natural defense systems. It's not just about what you eat, but how you eat it, and, as we'll discover today, how you reheat it. As we get older, our digestive systems become more sensitive. Our immune responses can be a little slower, and our bodies are less forgiving. A food that you could reheat and eat without a second thought in your 30s might cause significant problems in your 60s or 70s. The issue isn't aging itself. It's that we haven't adapted our habits to support our changing biology. In this video, we are going to uncover the most common foods that you should stop reheating immediately. I'll explain the simple science behind why they become toxic, what they do to your body, and most importantly, I'll give you simple, practical strategies to enjoy your leftovers safely and keep your body strong and resilient for years to come. This isn't about fear, it's about knowledge. Because when you know better, you can do better. Before we dive into our list, if you believe that your health is your greatest asset and you're committed to protecting it, take a moment to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. We share vital health information that can make a real difference in your daily life, and I'm always so curious to see where our community is watching from. Are you in the United States, Australia, the UK, or somewhere else in the world? Let me know in the comments below. It's wonderful to see how far this message of health empowerment can travel. Now, let's get started with the first food on our list, and it's one that is in almost every kitchen around the globe. The first food we need to talk about is rice. Yes, humble, versatile rice. Whether it's white, brown, or wild, rice is a staple food for more than half of the world's population. It's the base for curries, the companion to stir fries, and the heart of a good pilaf. It seems so innocent, so harmless, but leftover rice carries a hidden danger that has nothing to do with the rice itself and everything to do with how it's handled after it's cooked. The problem lies with a surprisingly tough type of bacteria called Bacillus cereus. Now, this isn't some rare exotic microbe. It's commonly found in soil and on raw rice. The issue is that this bacterium produces spores, which are like tiny armored seeds. These spores are incredibly resilient. They are designed by nature to survive extreme conditions, and that includes the boiling temperatures of cooking. So when you cook rice, the active bacteria are killed, but some of these tough little spores can survive the process. Here is where the danger begins. If you leave that cooked rice to cool down and sit at room temperature for too long, those surviving spores can germinate and grow into new bacteria. As these bacteria multiply, they produce toxins. One of these toxins is particularly nasty because it's what we call heat stable. This means that once the toxin is produced, zapping the rice in the microwave or reheating it on the stove won't destroy it. You might kill the new bacteria, but the poison they've already released remains in the rice. Eating this reheated rice can lead to a classic case of food poisoning with symptoms like vomiting and diarrhea that can show up as quickly as 30 minutes after your meal. For a younger person, this might mean a miserable day or two. But for someone over 60, an episode of food poisoning is a much more serious event. It can lead to severe dehydration, which puts a dangerous strain on your kidneys and your heart. The electrolyte imbalances can cause weakness, confusion, and even irregular heartbeats. It's a cascade of problems that all started with a simple bowl of leftover rice that wasn't stored properly. Think about it this way. Imagine your cooked rice is a pristine, empty city. When it's warm and moist, it's the perfect environment for these bacterial spores to wake up and start building factories that pump out toxins. The longer you leave it on the counter, the more factories get built and the more toxins accumulate. When you finally put it in the fridge, you're just pausing the factory production. And when you reheat it, you might shut down the factories, but you're not cleaning up the toxic waste they've already spilled all over the city. You then serve that toxicity for dinner. So, what's the right way to handle leftover rice? The key is to cool it down as quickly as possible. Don't let it sit on the counter for more than an hour. As soon as it stops steaming, get it into the refrigerator. A great trick is to spread the rice out on a baking sheet in a thin layer. This increases the surface area and allows it to cool rapidly. Once it's cool, transfer it to an airtight container and put it in the fridge. When you do reheat it, make sure it's piping hot all the way through and only ever reheat it once. If you follow this simple rule, cool it fast, store it right, and heat it well, you can safely enjoy your rice the next day without worry. Next on our list is a food that is a powerhouse of nutrition, a vegetable we are constantly told to eat more of for its iron, vitamins, and antioxidants. I'm talking about spinach. And by extension, other leafy greens like kale, chard, and even vegetables like celery and beets. We put spinach in our salads, our smoothies, our omelets. We cook it down as a delicious side dish. So how could something so healthy become a problem? The issue isn't with the spinach itself, but with a compound found naturally in it called nitrate. Nitrates are perfectly harmless. In fact, our bodies use them for important functions. The soil is rich in nitrates, which is how they get into these vegetables in the first place. The problem arises with the process of reheating. When you reheat cooked spinach or these other nitrate-rich vegetables, especially more than once, the heat can trigger a chemical reaction. The harmless nitrates can be converted into compounds called nitrites. Now, nitrites on their own are not necessarily the main villain, but they can be problematic, especially for older adults, as they can interfere with the blood's ability to carry oxygen. But the real concern is what can happen next. In the acidic environment of your stomach, these nitrites can be further converted into something called nitrosamines. And nitrosamines are a different story altogether. Many of them are known to be carcinogenic, meaning they have the potential to cause cancer. This isn't something that will happen after one reheated meal of spinach. The risk comes from repeated long-term exposure. It's a slow, cumulative damage that we want to avoid. Think of it like this. Each time you reheat that spinach, you're potentially running a tiny factory in your food that produces these dangerous compounds. The first time, maybe it's a small amount, but if you reheat it again, or if it was stored improperly, that production can increase. For a body over 60, which is already working hard to repair cells and fight off damage, adding an unnecessary source of carcinogens is a risk that simply isn't worth taking. I see this in my work all the time. People are trying so hard to do the right thing. They cook a big, healthy batch of creamed spinach or a vegetable soup, and they eat it for 3 or 4 days, reheating a bowl each day. They believe they are flooding their body with nutrients, but they may also be unknowingly dosing themselves with small amounts of nitrosamines. It's a tragic irony. The very food you're eating to prevent disease could be contributing to the risk of it. So, what is the solution? It's simple. When it comes to spinach and other nitrate-rich vegetables, it's best to eat them fresh. If you do cook them, try to cook only the amount you will eat in one sitting. If you have leftovers, the best advice is to eat them cold. A little cold, wilted spinach can be delicious mixed into a salad with some lemon juice and olive oil, or blended into a cold soup or a smoothie. By avoiding the reheating process, you bypass the chemical reaction that converts those healthy nitrates into something harmful. You get all the benefits of the spinach without any of a potential risk. It's a small change in habit that can have a big impact on your long-term health. I hope you're finding this information useful. It's these small everyday details that often get overlooked but can make a profound difference in our well-being as we age. If this is helpful for you, please take a moment to click the like button. It truly helps the video reach other seniors who need to hear this message, and it lets me know that we're on the right track. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. We have more crucial foods to cover. Let's move on to our third food, a breakfast favorite and a staple in so many recipes. I'm talking about eggs. Scrambled, fried, boiled, or in a frittata, eggs are a fantastic source of high-quality protein, which is incredibly important for maintaining muscle mass as we age. But reheated eggs are a different matter entirely. The problem with reheating eggs, particularly in a microwave, is twofold. First, it's about the protein structure, and second, it's about safety. When you cook an egg, its proteins denature, changing from a liquid to a solid. When you then reheat that cooked egg, the proteins are subjected to another blast of energy. This can cause them to change structure again, often becoming tough, rubbery, and, most importantly, very difficult for your digestive system to break down. For an older digestive system, which may already be producing fewer digestive enzymes, tackling these dense, recooked proteins can be a real challenge. This can lead to indigestion, bloating, gas, and a general feeling of heaviness and discomfort. It's your body struggling to process a food that has been made unnecessarily tough. Picture a delicate, intricate Lego structure. That's the protein in a freshly cooked egg. Now, imagine blasting that structure with a heat gun. It melts, warps, and fuses together into a dense, misshapen lump. That's what happens to egg protein when it's reheated aggressively. Your digestive enzymes, which are like tiny Lego separators, can no longer find the right places to work and take the structure apart. Beyond the digestive issues, there's a safety concern, especially with microwaving. Eggs, because of their high moisture content trapped inside, can heat unevenly. This can create pockets of intense steam inside the egg or a dish like a frittata. In some cases, this can cause the egg to literally explode in the microwave, or, even more dangerously, as you take it out or take your first bite, this can cause serious burns to your mouth and face. Furthermore, just like with chicken, if eggs aren't reheated to a consistently high temperature all the way through, any lingering bacteria, like salmonella, may not be killed, posing a significant risk of food poisoning. So, what's the best way to handle leftover eggs? The advice here is similar to spinach. It's best to eat them cold. A cold, hard-boiled egg is a fantastic and portable snack. Leftover scrambled eggs or a slice of frittata can be wonderful, crumbled into a salad or tucked into a sandwich with some lettuce and tomato. If you absolutely must reheat them, avoid the microwave. The best method is to do it gently on the stovetop in a skillet over low heat. You can add a tiny bit of butter or water to help create some steam and heat it through slowly and evenly. But honestly, my best advice is to embrace them in their cold form, or even better, cook them fresh. It only takes a few minutes to scramble an egg, and the nutritional and digestive benefits of eating it fresh far outweigh the convenience of reheating yesterday's breakfast. Your gut will thank you for it. The fourth food on our list might surprise you because it's a source of lean protein that doctors and nutritionists, including myself, often recommend. It's chicken. We bake it, we grill it, we roast it. A Sunday roast chicken can provide meals for days, but the way you reheat that chicken can make a world of difference to your health. The issue with chicken, much like with eggs, lies in its dense protein structure. When a piece of chicken is cooked for the first time, its proteins are broken down and changed in a way that makes them digestible. When you cool that chicken down and then reheat it, especially in a microwave, which heats very quickly and unevenly, the protein composition is altered yet again. These recooked proteins can be extremely difficult for our digestive system to handle. This can lead to significant stomach upset, bloating, and other digestive issues. As we age, our production of hydrochloric acid in the stomach can decrease, making it even harder to break down complex, dense proteins. So that reheated piece of chicken breast, which you think is a healthy, lean lunch, could be sitting in your stomach for hours, causing discomfort and distress. I once spoke with a patient, a gentleman in his late 60s, who was complaining of chronic indigestion. He was eating what he thought was a perfect diet, salads, lean protein, whole grains, but every afternoon, like clockwork, he would feel bloated and unwell. After we talked through his daily routine, we discovered the culprit. He was roasting a large chicken every Sunday and then microwaving a piece for his lunch Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. He was doing everything right in terms of food choice, but this one simple act of reheating was causing all of his problems. When he switched to eating the leftover chicken cold in his salad or gently reheating it in the oven, his digestive issues vanished within a week. It was a powerful lesson in how the how can be just as important as the what. Beyond the protein issue, there's also the well-known risk of bacteria like Salmonella and Campylobacter. Chicken needs to be cooked to a high internal temperature to be safe. When you reheat it, it's crucial that the entire piece of meat reaches that same safe temperature again. Microwaves are notoriously bad at this. They create hot spots and cold spots, leaving areas where bacteria can survive and multiply. The safest way to reheat chicken is in the oven at a moderate temperature, say around 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius, until it's steaming hot all the way through. You can add a splash of water or broth to the pan and cover it with foil to keep it from drying out. An even better option? Avoid reheating it altogether. Slice cold roast chicken and add it to sandwiches or salads. Shred it and mix it with some Greek yogurt, herbs, and celery for a delicious chicken salad. By eating it cold, you get all the protein benefits without any of the digestive risks or safety concerns. Finally, we come to the fifth category of foods you need to be very careful with: oils. This isn't about a specific food, but about a key ingredient we use to cook almost everything. We are often told to use healthy oils like olive oil, avocado oil, or flaxseed oil. But what happens when we use them to cook a meal and then reheat that meal later? The problem is something called the smoke point. The smoke point is the temperature at which an oil starts to break down and visibly smoke. When an oil is heated past its smoke point, its chemical structure changes. It begins to oxidize and release harmful compounds, including free radicals. Free radicals are like tiny, destructive cannonballs bouncing around inside your body, damaging cells, DNA, and contributing to inflammation and chronic diseases. The issue is that every time you reheat an oil, you are lowering its smoke point. So An oil that was stable and healthy the first time you cook with it can become unstable and toxic when you reheat the dish it's in. When you reheat a dish cooked with oil, especially at a high temperature in a microwave or a hot pan, you are essentially refrying that oil. This process can create aldehydes and other toxic compounds that have been linked to a range of health problems. Imagine you have a beautiful, healthy olive oil. The first time you use it to saute some vegetables, it's wonderful. But when you microwave those leftover vegetables the next day, the oil is heated again, potentially past its now lower smoke point, and it starts to break down, releasing these harmful substances that you then ingest. You can't see it, and you probably can't taste it, but this subtle chemical degradation is happening. This is particularly important for oils that have a naturally low smoke point to begin with, like flaxseed oil or walnut oil, which really should never be heated at all. But even robust oils like olive oil or avocado oil are degraded by repeated heating. What is the practical takeaway here? First, be mindful of the oils you use. For high temperature cooking, choose an oil with a high smoke point. But when it comes to leftovers, try to reheat them gently. Instead of blasting them in the microwave, consider a gentle warming in a covered pan on the stove with a little water to create steam, rather than refrying them in more oil. Or, better yet, find ways to enjoy those leftovers cold or at room temperature. A dish of roasted vegetables is delicious, cold, perhaps tossed with a fresh vinaigrette. The principle is simple. Cook it once with a good quality oil, and then try to avoid subjecting that oil to another round of high heat. Protecting the integrity of the fats you eat is a cornerstone of an anti-inflammatory diet, which is so crucial for healthy aging. So let's quickly recap what we learned today. We need to be cautious with reheating rice by cooling it quickly and storing it properly. We should avoid reheating spinach and other nitrate-rich vegetables and enjoy them cold instead. Eggs and chicken are best eaten cold or reheated very gently on the stovetop or in the oven, never blasted in the microwave to protect their protein structure and our digestion. And finally, we must be mindful of reheating dishes cooked in oil, as repeated heating degrades the oil and creates harmful compounds. It might seem like a lot to remember, but the core principle is simple. Food is at its safest and most nutritious when it's fresh. Leftovers can be a healthy part of your life, but they require a little extra thought and care. I know that learning this might feel a bit unsettling. You may be thinking about all the times you've reheated these foods without a second thought. Please do not feel guilty or worried. The purpose of this information is not to create fear, but to empower you. Knowledge is power. Now that you know, you can make small, simple adjustments that will protect your health for the long run. Growing older is a gift, and it comes with the wisdom to know that our bodies need a little extra care. It's not about giving up the foods you love. It's about using smarter, safer strategies to enjoy them. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish your body, to give it the building blocks it needs to stay strong, mobile, and vibrant. You have the power to make choices that will help you thrive. I truly believe that it is never too late to make a positive change for your health. Your body has a remarkable capacity to heal and regenerate when you give it the right conditions. Removing these small, hidden sources of toxins and digestive stress can free up your body's energy to focus on what really matters, keeping you healthy and independent. Imagine feeling lighter after meals, having more consistent energy throughout the day, and knowing that every bite you take is truly supporting your well-being. That is the freedom that comes with this knowledge. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these foods surprised you the most to see on this list? Have you ever had a bad experience after eating leftovers that now makes more sense? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. Our community learns so much from each other, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. I do my best to read every comment, and if this video has given you valuable information, please show your support by hitting the like button. It helps us reach more people who need this knowledge. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so you never miss another video packed with science-backed advice for living your healthiest life. Stay strong, stay informed, and remember that every small choice you make is a powerful investment in your future health.